Apparently, the Silicon Valley Bank has been raised from the dead as GameStop stock buyout raises suspicions. Now, I haven't been doing this for very long, guys, but it's quite rare that we get into the weeds of finances when covering pop culture, gaming, and wider entertainment, because this should concern people, but it's gonna go way over people's heads. A passionate viewer recommended this to us through the network because, let's face it, folks, the more complex the topic, the more likely people aren't gonna cover it. Now, GameStop has been known, especially in recent years, for their stocks and shares. A certain creator bought a lot of stocks and shares in GameStop, which saved his reputation from the Amico disaster. But to boil it down as simple as I can for everyone here, except Furious Dan, who knows his finances, apparently the Silicon Valley Bank is trying its best through a new LLC to restore itself by buying up certain stocks and shares in reputable companies. This is the same Silicon Valley Bank that helped bankroll a certain political faction, and once it failed in that effort, got blown to bits.
Wait, Digny, before you go forward, one thing I gotta tell you and everybody: reality-based disclaimer. None of this is financial advice. There, we covered our asses.
That
is very good.
Good job.
Very good input.
You don't want to take financial advice from anyone.
I'm actually getting my financial licenses for my state.
Nice.
So maybe at some point.
I'm not
sorry,
allowed to
what?
handle
What was
large
that?
chunks of money anymore.
Damn. If you scroll down, Elzo, we'll be able to provide some context for
one thing
for
that
everyone.
I would like to input, because I did read a little bit about the collapse of this bank in 2021.
It's so dry, isn't it?
It is, but we are talking about billions of dollars and billions of dollars in investments, in liquidations, in stocks, in everything. So this is a rather. Just a second, sorry. So I'm gonna start reading the first paragraph, because SVB, which is Silicon Valley Bank Wealth LLC, acquired a new stake in shares at GameStop Corp. In the first quarter, according to the company in its most recent Form 13F with the SEC, the firm acquired 15,000 shares, over 15,000 shares, of company value of approximately $329,000. Now, one thing that you should know about Silicon Valley and the news surrounding it is that it did engage a lot, allegedly, in the implementation of DEI within its ranks. And if there are some people that actually kind of did the whole thing, that this is what caused them to be unsuccessful in the long run, especially after the lockdowns, where they actually started to boom during the lockdowns and they crashed and burned afterwards. So focusing on implementing those things in 2021, 2022, and so forth is what caused them to crash and burn. This is, again, allegedly, and a lot of speculation, but the fact is that they did have a lot of that implemented. So they are that centered in that way. And in the important thing is that being centered in that way, being raised from the grave, and buying GameStop stocks can lead to potentially a lot of I'm looking for the word, infiltrations within the GameStop community and further into the gaming community.
Yes, I know people don't like GameStop, and I can perfectly understand why, but they do have a solid reputation within the zeitgeist, right?
They
because
fired
GameStop
me twice. That's why I don't like them. Okay, they fired me twice.
Well, that sounds like an interesting side story.
And they don't treat people right either.
What?
GameStop don't treat people right
Yeah,
That's what I've
yeah,
heard.
at all.
yeah.
So you
Influence
can
or
expect things to potentially go even worse for them. At a
Because
certain
this
point.
is this is the first step, though, gentlemen, and you know, for all the fine folks in the chat. Because if the Silicon Valley Bank is successful in getting its foot in the door, they'll blast it open, and then they'll restart their efforts all over again, like a certain individual is doing right now. But I will point out right here, right now, you look at all these company names, all these percentages, shares, and all sorts of things. Whoever wrote this or typed this article out, I think, did it to try and suck you out of the story, not suck you into the story. So to boil it down, what was that?
I just want to say that I would agree because the article is written in a way that's actually difficult to read, unless you are potentially a finance expert.
Yeah, it's drier than the Sahara Desert. That's how dry this statement is. And to me, what folks need to understand is this is the foot in the door situation. All the companies, all the stocks, all the shares, all the funds, they're just pieces on the chessboard.
Yeah. And you know, to what you're saying, Digny, the thing is, the money may sound like a dry topic to a lot of people, but you have to pay attention because that's where everything originates and comes from. That's the ebb and flow of everything going on. If you want to see who controls the agenda in gaming that we don't like, follow the money trail, follow it back to BlackRock, follow it back to, you know, the World Economic Forum and all of these organizations that, you know, are greasing the wheel. You know, USAID, a lot of people noticed that once USAID dropped, a lot of this wokeness went away. Look at the people who are bankrolling Sweet Baby Inc. Look at the people who are bankrolling Anima Interactive. Look at how the EU, you know, put grants of money into Dustborn. All right. You know, you always have to pay attention to what's going on with the money because it's telling you who has the vested interest in subverting all of the rest of us. Even if it seems like it's a little boring, it's a red flag. Silicon Valley Bank, too big to fail. Democrat Party activists, primarily people who the Democrat Party wanted to bail out from, you know, even folding to begin with. You have to watch that. You have to watch that because nothing is free. If the Democrats are going to bail you out, you owe them favors. That favor is influence. That favor is subversion. And then that's how you get things like Concord in your life.
Exactly.
Well said.
Doing on this topic, I would like to jump to Roadkill and ask him what do you think about all of this?
Our
financial advisor.
Yeah.
I have to be careful about this because I don't want to sound like I'm coming off as like knowing too much about it. But I do speak with someone that is heavily involved in the purchasing. He has a lot of stocks with GS, with GameStop, but he's doing his sort of, you know, cough buy, and that to me means there's a little boost happening, and when that boost happens, look what happened a few years ago with it. Everyone's going to just pull out, bankrupted immediately. GameStop, their CEO, I read something about how he stepped in and is trying to be a little bit more pro gamer rather than pro business. That article, I wish I would have pulled that up, but what that does is that charges a new inspiration for gamers, real gamers that are like, oh shit, it's coming back. This is great. And then boom, they're back at GameStop buying the supplies, doing everything at GameStop instead of other stores. And there's something happening. There's a change in the wind. Silicon Valley with that thing, I don't know. Yeah, I reached out to him specifically on that article. I didn't receive anything back. He runs his own show, so he's busy with that. But I can't wait to hear back from him about this and maybe touch back on this at some point in time because he's without. I'm not going to drop any names, but I believe he's one of those people that kind of hit it big on the last bust. So, and it's something that he's really into and knows about. So when it comes to GameStop, yeah, just be wary, man, because it's gamers are very clever. We're very clever, smart people. No, we don't go out and fucking, engineer electronics for the future for Apple. A lot of them do. Some of them do. But at the same time, very clever, very they know what to do when it comes to the digital industry. And so, I don't know. I was thinking about it. I was talking to the guy, and I was like, dude, should I put some money in that? Like, is this something that's happening? But nah, I stick to my own. And like anyone listening right now, and like he told me and tells his chat, everyone always do your research financially. Don't sit there on one web page and go, huh, or watch one podcast constantly and go, all right, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Nope. Get in there, get your elbows deep in that shit, and do your own research when you're talking about putting money somewhere, because that's when you fall into these traps. There's traps everywhere. So
Well, let's grease this chicken, Roadkill, by thanking the Gamer Empress for raiding the stream. We appreciate you, lovely
Hail
lady.
Much, Empress.
Shout out to the Gamer Empress.
And we are hopefully waiting for you to come to this panel in the future
That'd be
and
cool.
have a very nice conversation and a very nice time with everyone. Thank you very much, Empress.
I'll have to give Helzo the timestamps for at the end of the show so that he can put them in the description. More digestible that way for replay viewers.
But yeah, I don't have much more to say on that. Sorry, I wish I had more. I told Ryan I would, but he didn't get back to me.
That's all right.
But at some point, yeah, this is very interesting to me, because as I'm getting my licenses for the state and doing other things, eventually my next few licenses are going to be around this sort of like, stock shit, and I'm like frightened, because I'm like, dude, this is going to be a mess, because economics is what we all know. I think everyone on the panel knows economics is a sham, but you got to make money somehow. But go ahead.
Yes, you do.
No, I think Furious Dan is our economics expert. Dan, could you tell us what VAT is, please?
V8, V8. I have no clue, my brother.
Google that shit quick.
Damn, you want me to Google that quick? Totally forgot what it was about. If I could explain it, but then you guys.
Okay, what is the sales tax, Dan? What's the sales tax?
The sales tax is what you actually get taxed after selling something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Round of applause for Furious Dan, our
Yeah.
economics expert.
VAT isn't that the targeting system on Fallout?
VAT.
No,
Nice.
no.
No, I don't know what it is. but-
Yeah, y'all guys put me in that corner situation. I can't even explain myself.
Okay.
In any ways,
Did Kai give his perspective on this dry chicken topic?
let us hear him, because I was going to say that, because we do need a lot of opinions about that.
Well, that's just my whole thing, is that I don't understand anything about the stock market. I don't want to understand anything about it. I think it's evil as hell. The only thing that I got entertainment out of the whole entire GameStop stock thing was the fact that they made a movie off of that whole entire situation when it came out a few years ago.
I'll tell everyone this. Just a brief lowdown on the stock market. The more you buy in, the more the value of it goes up. The more you sell, the more the value goes down. And that's basically how the stock market works.
If you ask me, the stock market is like a casino.
Yeah, it's gambling.
The house always wins.
And also, you got to play it smart, because it goes up and down. So it's like this company, and you got to be in on the new companies, because that's going to go high, sell fast, and it's this constant game. That's why I'm not in it myself. I prefer savings. Yeah.
Grows and grows.